Welcome viewers. We are discussing enterprise resource planning. It is a very important, and nowadays without ERP we are unable to see or even find our life without ERP. If you go to railway, if you go to bank, everything is connected with the enterprise resource planning. But there are so many software packages which are also available for ERP implementation. There are so many consultants are available which are ready to help for implementation of ERP. Still, we are finding it very difficult, sometimes very complex. It is very easy to take a ERP package, but if you are taking an ERP package without understanding your organizational objective or your vision, definitely the ERP package or the ERP implementation will not be fruitful for your organization. Similarly, ERP implementation is a very tough job. If you have a good consultant, if you have a good team, with a motivated employees team, then only your ERP can be implemented. And the most difficult part in ERP implementation is the maintenance part. If you are giving or you are investing in ERP implementation, the investment should also be make consideration for the maintenance of ERP. So in today's session, you will be able to understand the approaches to ERP package selections. You will get insight about the scope of ERP. You will be able to learn the factors in ERP implementation, and you will appreciate the difficulties in ERP implementation. Now, what are the different approaches? Just like the most appropriate or the first step is identification of our need for ERP package. Then selection of an appropriate ERP package should involve careful evaluation of existing ERP alternatives and the needs and profile of the enterprise. These two activities should be done simultaneously. There is a need to make two teams. One will analyze the needs and the profile of enterprise, and other team will identify or analyze or evaluate the existing ERP alternatives. In coming session, we will explain proof of concept approach and the traditional approach, which is also called request for proposal, that is called the RFP. We will also describe the advantages of POC over RFP approach. Now, if I see the stage 1, that is called the analysis stage. RFP approach begins with the preliminary analysis, which is meant to prepare the organization for ERP selection project. This involves the following steps, just like launching and planning the ERP project, collecting and reviewing the related background material, understanding the interest, needs and expectation of all those who are affected by ERP decision, reviewing the ideas of stakeholders and prioritizing their preferences, and then developing the RFP. Now, what are the output of stage 1? The first one is detailed project plan for the activities related to selection process, and second is list of potential ERP vendors. As we said that we may form two teams, or we will divide a team into two subgroups. So these are the two output, one from the one subgroup. Now stage 2 is known as requirement analysis. In this stage, we are conducting a workshop on joint requirement planning. We will analyze the result of workshop. We will list the functional requirement. We will document and confirm the business requirement. Now, we should always analyze the output of each stage. After the stage 2, we will get the complete document of business and the functional requirement. Under stage 3, which is request for information, in this stage, we will make a higher level look at the situation. We will go for the top management. We will gather information on different ERP solutions which are available, eliminating those ERP packages which are totally irrelevant, inadequate or inappropriate. Now there is a follow-up stage in the stage 3. Developing the request for proposal, or in short we can say RFP, releasing to the selected list of vendors whose packages best support the business requirement, then responding to the inquiries of the vendors after they receive RFP. Because the vendor will also make some queries. So our team should be able to give a satisfactory reply to each vendor. Because the most important question, why you want ERP? What is the objective of organizations? What you are expecting from us? Then another important, we should evaluate the vendor response on RFP. What vendor is giving response on each ERP? Now, we should also analyze the output of stage 3. We will get a list of possibly 3 or 4 of ERP vendors to whom the final RFP would be sent. We will also finalize what would be the RFP documents. In the stage 4, we are going for the selection of system, organizing a demonstration model with each vendor which are selected under stage 3, deliberating on selection of best vendor. This is at this level of in-house ERP implementation team. They will hire consultant or expert from the industry which has already implemented or used these packages. We will send the report to the top management and we will make the final selection on the basis of evaluation and the recommendation by our top management. What will be the output? Definitely, output will be the final selection of ERP package. Now, we should discuss about the limitation of RFP approach. The first one is there are chances that many unrealistic requirements may get listed in the RFP. This is due to the lavish and the wish list prepared by the selection team for the desired feature and the capability of ERP solution. Many members of the selection team may not have the adequate exposure of ERP system. Due to this, their list of requirements may be partially unrealistic. Sometimes the list of requirements may contain contradictory functional requirements such as infinite capacity scheduling or finite delivery time. Another limitation of RFP approach lies in the inadequate real-time experience in the implementation and adoption. RFP does not provide any opportunity to have a detailed experience of proposed ERP before its selection. Mostly vendors give demonstration of ERP solution for a day or two. With such acquaintance, there is a little possibility of rightly reconfiguring the business system with ERP package. Hence, the decision related to the selection of ERP which fits best with the business is quite difficult. Now we will discuss about the proof of concept or the POC approach. In POC approach, we said it is a comprehensive and a real-time selection approach for the ERP solution. In this approach, the organization is provided with ERP software which may be truncated version for a few months. The purpose is to get confidence on the software before the final selection is made. Following are again, as we have discussed the different stages in RFP, similarly we are discussing the stages in POC. Under stage 1, that is called the preparation of project and the constitution of ERP team. This stage involves the following activities. The topmost is understanding the project objective, confirming the project objective, reviewing the document, then interviewing the stakeholders. Few more activities: identifying the person for the ERP team or the task force. We will define the role, identifying the organizational resources needed for ERP implementation, assessing the risk involved in the project. That is another important point. Developing a plan to address the risk and the capacity of the project. Then launching the project through an effective internal communication campaign involving all. Now, what will be the output of stage 1? We will get a plan which would prepare the task force in particular and organization in general for the next stage of POC activity. Under stage 1, we have seen the preparation of plan. Now, stage 2 is the analysis of key requirements. Whatever we have identified in stage 1, we will analyze. Unlike RFP approach, analysis of functional requirement and analysis of key business requirement is done in the POC approach. This is followed by the development of process model for achieving the benefits of ERP project. Following activities are involved. We will conduct a seminar, we will conduct a workshop, presentation to plan the joint requirement. We will develop a comprehensive process model and test with a sample transaction and the pinpoint areas of process involvement. Now, what we will give or what we will achieve after stage 2, we will get a list of business requirement and we will get a process model. Now we will come to the stage 3, which is also known as selection of system. In this system, the potential alternative of ERP vendors are narrowed down to one, and the following activities are involved: identifying the resource persons who are experienced in the software, and most important, they should be willing to advise, willing to devote the time. These experts must have experience of potential alternative ERP packages. The need of organization must be known to them. It is the study of task force to fully acquaint them about the organization needs. While identifying who are involved in the implementation of ERP in the different project, we will take the advice for the choice of ERP solution. We will deliberate on the outcome and we will make the final choice of ERP, informing the concerned vendor. Final output of stage 3, we are freezing the choice of ERP vendor. Now we were coming to the stage 4. Under the stage 4, we are reaching the team agreement on the product to the prototype. This is a product confirmation stage. This stage may continue from few weeks to few months because we are finalizing the thing as per the mutual agreement with the vendor. Following activities are intended in this stage: arranging the testing of the project. The purpose is to make a thorough analysis of ERP solution, preparing a test system with a process model, undertaking a gap analysis, identifying the items which indicate the major difference between the software capability and the business need. And if we discuss the output from the stage 4, we will get a decision regarding whether to go for ERP package solution or not. We will understand of ERP model, price and technology involved in ERP implementation. Now, if we discuss the application of POC approach, the decision regarding the choice of ERP is extremely difficult. Many of the available alternatives would be capable of serving the requisite function. Therefore, a considerable level of confidence is needed before going for a trial or final stage of the procurement. The confidence may be achieved by an actual trial in the company environment for a reasonable period of time, say 1 or 2 months. In POC approach and implementation, it should be supported by vendor who should be willing to extend his facilities. We should also involve consultant. We should also take the advice regarding their efforts needed for the change. We should also take the help of somebody who has a hand-on experience on the previous implementation of ERP package. We should also define the role of task force so that we can coordinate and organize the business activity and to make an in-depth deliberation on various activities. This is a POC approach where we have on the left hand side we have a task force and the hired consultant, and then finally we are giving as a delivery of or the decision regarding the ERP package selection. In next step is we are linking the approach to the reality. For this there is a pre-planning is needed. To start with the enterprise, it is required to prepare the present scenario in the mini or the menu test detail. This we call as is mapping of enterprise. Next thing that is needed is to visualize the scenario which may emerge after implementation. This we call to-be mapping of the enterprise. Now, when we applied the POC to map the process of enterprise on the software, the objective would be how to transform the enterprise from as is situation to be situation. At this level, the help of implementation expert and the support of vendor is very crucial, because this is the implementation part, this is the application, it is a final stage. So it is very crucial to take the help of or the support of the expert and the support of the vendor. Now, if we compare the RFP approach and the POC approach, you will find that time is consumed in both approach and it is normally same. This study has been conducted and I have given the reference. If you want to see the study, you can refer this paper. Second comparison is RFP and POC. Both involve the understanding the functions of ERP. RFP provides only a general data or the general idea of how the new process will affect the business, while POC approach provides a much better understanding of a new process and re-engineering business model. This figure will give you the comparison of RFP and POC approach. Now, how you will narrow down the ERP alternatives? During the selection of ERP, it is generally not difficult to narrow down the choice of 3 or 4 packages. Further, narrowing of choices to a single vendor is difficult. This is due to the following reason. ERP selection being a multi-criteria decision-making problem, and it is very difficult because the selection depends on the multi-criteria. It is subjective in nature because the decision is on the basis of relative merit of each alternative ERP solution. Then we have a divergent criteria on whose basis the decision is to be taken. The difference in the opinion may create problem because the team members have the different opinion about the different alternatives. Even some criteria may be of conflicting nature, so we have to trade off some criteria. Another important point is interdependence of the few criteria. There may be the personal biasness among the consultant and the team member because of their prior experience with the earlier vendor. Lack of quantitative estimate regarding the performance of ERP solution on a real-time situation. Now we will come to the ERP implementation. The ERP implementation is generally done in close association with vendor, and it is written in the terms and condition that vendor will provide his full assistance in ERP implementation, and even the physical presence of vendor will be required for 6 months or 1 year time. Therefore, the presence of vendor is must. Many organizations foregoing a hiring professional consultant to facilitate the implementation of the process. Within organization, there is a need to form an ERP team which should understand the complexity. In ERP implementation, we should have the interaction with vendor. The team comprises of people with a higher caliber and motivation, because there are sometimes they have to devote lot of times. They are from the different stream. That is another important point which one must consider while forming the team. Process engineer, industrial engineer, HRD personnel, financial executive, and the work manager, because they have to ensure the effective implementation of ERP. The role of top management is also very crucial and important, as the commitment is required for the controlling the flow of finance from one end to the another end. A general methodology for implementation of ERP is presented in a flow chart, and we will discuss, because identification of need should be developed through the feasibility report. You will just see that how from the first at the top we have a several steps, and in the middle this is a decision block where one has to take one decision, and again there are several steps for the ERP implementation. In this flow chart, the present enterprise should also be evaluated along with the much needed future capabilities. Then comes to the stages of the selection and the evaluation of ERP. We have seen this aspect in the previous slides. In ERP solution, if it is acceptable, then strategy for the business process reengineering should also be decided, because we have to re-engineer the whole process. The most important point in implementation is called the USA principle for implementation. Some of the typical failures of ERP implementation have revealed that the most of these companies have started the ERP implementation process first focusing on the automation effort. Studies have also revealed that automation in an enterprise for productivity improvement without understanding and simplifying the process will result in the failure in ERP implementation. If we follow the USA principle for implementation, then definitely it will lead to the successful implementation. USA stand for U stand for understand, S for simplify, A for automated or automate. The USA approach call for the dedicated effort for understanding the business process. Therefore, any effort without USA will result in the failure. Second step is the simplification of the process, and the last step is go for the automation. This is a flow chart for USA, U for understand, S for simplify, A for automate. We have second stage method and the final for the USA implementation for the ERP package. These are some factors for the successful, just like setting the right priorities, business process reengineering, downsizing, organizational transformation, integration within organization, integration outside, and standardization in enterprise operation, and the high capacity to handle the large volume data. Now, if you just see the setting the priorities at the right, or the right priorities should be set, the necessary of ERP project must be well established. It must start with a well-judged feasibility report. Many consultants often jump into the conclusion without properly going into the feasibility report. There is a great excitement about ERP throughout the world. In this situation, it is easy to get caught into the euphoria and enthusiasm and rely on too much, because many companies are using it. But one should understand the objective and evaluate the ERP package which are available. Blind copy of trend may lead the organization into a unpleasant situation. Second stage is business process reengineering, in which we will redesign a company process to increase the efficiency, improve the quality, and reduce the cost. Thus, re-engineering of the business should be continuous rather a single re-engineering process. That means it is not proper to do a one-time activity, it is all-time activities. Business process re-engineering is closely associated with the implementation of ERP. Third important stage is downsizing. On many occasions, trimming the workforce is essential. By reducing the head count, one can streamline the organization and make the system more efficient. Workforce reduction and intensive training to the remaining employees should go hand in hand. And automation at a later stage would compensate the losses due to the reduction. Another important stage is organizational transformation. Organizational culture is very important, because one should understand the knowledge of the software, about the objective of the organization, about the prerequisite of the ERP package. This will reduce the resistance to the change. Another important is integration within the organization. We need the system integration. We need a well integrated organization, and modular nature of software will have the distinct advantage. One can purchase the modules to meet the present business requirement, and one can go for add-on modules as the process is increasing. But the first important point is the system integration. Then integration outside. Software should have the flexibility in terms of hardware, operating system, database, and GUI, that is the graphical user interface. In this context, a client server technology should be reliable, efficient, flexible, and the cost effective. Another important stage is standardize the enterprise operation. For improving the efficiency and for increasing the flexibility of the system, it is necessary the enterprise should standardize its business operation. Due to globalization of several technology and the enterprise activities, the importance of standardization is much more relevant in today's world. High capacity to handle a large volume data, because sometimes it happens we should also be prepare ourselves in ERP to handle the large volume of data. Some important guidelines for we will discuss some useful guideline for ERP implementation based on experience from the successful ERP package. Some guidelines should be framed for the organization and for the employees and for the top management and those who are the stakeholder. One must understand the need of enterprise and the feelings of the corporate culture in the context of readiness for the change. Message should come from the top management regarding the adoption of the project. Without top management commitment, it is very difficult to implement ERP. There is a need for the continuous and the frequent communication from the top management regarding the usefulness and the mindset for the project should be made. One should initiate the process with a feasibility report. Changes in the business process should be started in the early stage of the project, and one should not allow the frequent changes, and resistance to the change will reduce if employees are well informed about the changes. Phases of project implementation should be very clearly defined, and it should be decided in the much early stage or the initial stage. One should hold the consultative meetings with the consensus. The top executive should play the role of champion. One should hire the consultant having the attitude and the experience for the ERP package implementation. The task force which we have formed for the organization should visit the site of vendor, should discuss with the vendor how the ERP solution is functioning, and useful tips should always be extracted from the existing user. The documentation of vendor should be clearly or the carefully studied, and most of us fail in this exercise. We do not discuss the document with the vendors. The first is the study, and then second is the discuss the doubt. One should make a balanced implementation team which include IT team, HRD team, works team, financial team, and the top executive. Other experienced functional manager should also be included. There should be regular training and appraisal session in the organization. One must ensure the problems that are arising from the changes, and that should be handled carefully. Good feedback mechanism is always encouraged in ERP implementation. A modular system of ERP should be encouraged, and the future capability of the enterprise should also be taken into account. There are some reasons for the ERP failure implementation. First one is the absence of executive sponsored. Since ERP crosses the function within a company, the implementation need each function expert in the team. Various function executive should be brought together. There should be people directed and devoted toward the project. When the project is viewed as an IT effort, an effort before automating and manufacturing should be there. Another important reason, one should have the full-time project manager for ERP, one should go for IT people, and the lack of documentation of implementation process may lead to the ERP implementation failure. If there is a lack of internal communication with top executive, again it will lead to failure. If there is a lack of vendor support, it will lead. If one is making lot of changes, that will also cause for the failure of the ERP implementation. Another, lack of re-engineering effort and insistence on the continuation of current practice will also lead to the reason for ERP implementation. In today's session, we have understood that ERP is a software architecture that facilitates the flow of information among the different functions of an enterprise. This is achieved through a common database information and enterprise linkages, powerful GUI, client-server network of the communication, and uniform system environment. In ERP implementation strategy, normally it goes along with the BPR. BPR means business process re-engineering. We have also seen and studied how the selection of appropriate package is a challenging task. There are some difficulties which we have analyzed. We have also compared request for proposal and the proof of concept, the two approach for weeding out the alternatives. Thank you.